All right, we're back. Bearded Mixer, what's your question? What is your question? What's your question? Mike Harvey. What's up, Mike? What? When using When using Ableton, I've always grouped tracks using group tracks method, Control G. How does that compare to grouping tracks via IO settings? Oh, right. Oh, that's a great question, actually. But before I answer that, let me just put in Mike Harvey's name. Mike Harvey. There we go. Cool. All right, I got you. So to answer your question, how does it differ? It doesn't really differ so much. It's more about the kind of Harvey. Yeah, Harvey. It doesn't. It's more about like how we do things in general. So I like to do the IO method in Ableton Live because it keeps me consistent across everything. So for example, when I'm using Pro Tools or Logic, I have to use the IO method. I have to have my tracks, and I have to make an aux track, and I have to set up all my tracks to go into the aux track. And that's how you subgroup tracks in Ableton, in Logic, and in Pro Tools, and on an SSL, and on the Neve, and on the O2R, and on the Audient. So that's how you have to do it in everywhere. But Ableton Live has this other way to do it, which is grouping tracks. And that's like if you're in the Ableton Live ecosystem and you're only in the Ableton Live ecosystem, then that's how you have to do it. But my advice is if you are using multiple apps for making music and producing, and you are using hardware and you're kind of bouncing around doing a lot of like using a lot of different gear, then my advice is to kind of keep everything as consistent as possible across the board. So that way, if you're using Pro Tools or you're using Logic or you're using Ableton Live, it doesn't really matter. You're subgroup mixing in the same way with all of them. Now, that's not to say that I don't use Command G. I absolutely do use Command G, and let me just show you what we're talking about here, because some of y'all might be a little bit lost and saying like, oh, what are you talking about, Command G? So what we're talking about is, let's say I have this, these tracks here. Let me just switch my computer back. Here we go. So I've got these three here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I didn't put any things in. Okay, hold on a second. Before I show you, let's go ahead and put some tracks in here. Let's put some sounds in. Where is it? There it is. Oh yeah, Bendy. Okay. Right. Cool. Let's see. Oh yeah. And bongo time. Oh, I have flute. We'll get a flute. It's a good idea. I like where your head's at. All right. So I have these here. Now let's say I want to process all three of these instruments through some kind of a like slight distortion or a filter or something like that. So what I can do is I can just take all three of these, I just shift click them, and I hit Command G. And you can see here it groups them all together. Now what I want to make sure I do though is this one here is going to say, I'm going to rename it Perk Group. And down here in the bottom where it says Audio 2, because I've already routed them to the drum group, it's not actually routing them to the Perk Group yet. So I got to make sure I change that to go to the Perk Group, which is right here. Boom. So now they're all going to the Perk Group. Now this one here is going to go to the drum group. Let me get this bongos to be a little bit more steady, because right now this one's a little bit louder than the other one. Turn that one down a little bit. Yeah. Now all of these we're going to run some kind of a thing on. Not sure what we should put on here. Let's put, what should we put on here? Let's turn this off. There we go. Let's put filter, shaper, fromage, flute. Yeah, we're gonna put a flute, but hold on, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like what effect should we put on here? Ooh, Camel Crusher. Put Camel Crusher. Whoa. Calm down there, Camel Crusher. All right, let's put that on there. Let's put a Nine Inch Nails hip hop. That's funny. And then we're also going to put this EQ8 on here. There we go. Yeah. That one. Get rid of that one. Cool. Where's my hi-hat? There's my hi-hat. So I can put I'm putting this effect on all three of these sounds here. Right? So basically, I just subgrouped these using Command G. And it ends up sounding the same. It's more about just keeping things consistent. Like I said, it doesn't sound-wise, it doesn't sound any different. And I do use Command G a lot of the time, but I mostly, for the bigger groups of things, I'll use this I/O method. Now, if you're using an older version of Live, before version 10, there was a practical reason why you should do it like this, and that is because you could not have groups within groups within groups. Like if you had Command G on Live 9, you couldn't have a Command G within Command G within Command G. You can only have one Command G, one group, and then that's it. But with Live 10, you can have like your drums as one group, and then you can have your like kick drum. You can have two kicks grouped together within that larger group. The other thing I don't really like about doing the Ableton Live way is, for me, routing wise, it doesn't make any sense to have the group on the left. I like having my group on the right, because that's just how groups work. Groups move, like audio moves from left to right for me. So Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm glad you understand what I'm saying here about it. But I use both. You know, in reality, I use both. Cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's a cool little beat. All right, what's next? Yeah, right, the freezing and flattening. Sweet. Okay, so freeze and flatten. Basically what this allows you to do is it allows you to basically take your audio from some kind of an effect and keep it in place there. If you're used to using Logic, if you used Logic in the past, freeze and flatten is the same thing as freeze in Logic. It's basically the same, or bounce in place. If you're using Pro Tools, it's called, it's not consolidate. It's, man, does anybody remember what it's called in Pro Tools? It's not freeze in Pro Tools. There is yes, thank you, commit. That's exactly right, commit. Sorry, I don't have Pro Tools open in front of me. Yeah, so in Pro Tools, it's basically the same as commit, where you right click on a track and you commit the audio, and it just commits it there, which is a really great way to work. And this is what I do. So, for example, this bass line here, this bass, here, let me just do a save as. Cool. I'm going to save that so I can keep the MIDI part here. And what I'm going to do is I just go over here to my bass and I right click and I go freeze track. Now, once it's frozen, you can see this track is this kind of blue color. And you see all the stuff is blue. If I double click on the clip, I can still see all the MIDI data. Basically what this means is that Ableton Live has created an audio version of this MIDI data. It's taken the instrument and the clip and everything, and it's created an audio version, and it's put the audio somewhere on the computer. I don't think it's holding it in the folder. Hold on, let's see. Let's see real quick. Is it holding it in the folder? Let me see. This is MIDI Day 2 project, samples, processed, freeze. Oh, it is, okay. So what it did was it created a folder in here. If we go back and look at this, in here. So the name of the project is MIDI Day 2. That's where we are right now. And if I go in here, I go to my samples and go to processed and freeze. Now it's got freeze bass here, and it's stuck it in the folder. So it doesn't look like audio here on my screen, but it is playing from audio. Now, the cool thing with Ableton Live versus how Logic or Pro Tools does this is Logic and Pro Tools, the way they use freeze, is that once you've frozen the track, it freezes the track, and you cannot move the regions around or make changes or anything without it actually messing with the, it'll have to reprocess the freeze for the whole track, and it takes a long time. But with Ableton Live, what's really cool about the way that works is if I want to take this clip, because it's just frozen this one clip, if I want to take this clip and now use it in a lot of different places on the track, I can, and it's just going to play back the audio from this clip. I could even put it onto the arrangement view and lay it out in the track. It's pretty dope the way Ableton Live does it. It doesn't have to keep refreezing the track. Now, let's say that for whatever reason, I don't want this to be I don't want it to look like a MIDI clip. I want it to actually be a real audio, and I want to be able to do audio stuff to it. So once a track is frozen, I can now flatten it. I have two choices here. I can unfreeze or I can flatten. If you unfreeze it, it goes back to being normal MIDI. It's just how it is. But what I can do is I can go in here, I freeze it, and I can go to flatten, and now it actually turns it into audio. And now I have my audio. And what's cool about this is I can take this audio and I could reverse it. So now it's backwards, and I can. You know, I've got my forward one here. So it's pretty neat how this works. And the best part about this is it's no longer using up a ton of processor on my computer. This bass part was not using up a lot of processor power on my computer anyway, because it's literally just a sample. It's not using a whole bunch of effects and stuff. But if I'm using something like, if I was in here in my instruments and I was using like Wavetable, Wavetable does use quite a bit of processor power. So if I was using Wavetable, that would use more processor, so eventually I'd probably want to, freeze and flatten it. I use freeze and flatten all the time. As a matter of fact, I use it so much, I've actually set up a macro control using another program called Keyboard Maestro. Just a real quick aside about this. Keyboard Maestro, if you look up here on my computer, it's up here. And this is a program that lets me set up key commands for overall functions of my computer as a whole, or specific programs. So for example, let me just undo this, get this back to MIDI. There we go. Okay, so I got this bass track here. Let me just solo it out. So there it is. And like you saw, I can right click, I can go freeze track, and I can right click again and go flatten track. I can also do it over here under edit, freeze, and then edit, flatten. Right here, I freeze it and then I flatten it. That's two different things I have to do. And when you're working fast, I don't want to have to do all those different things. So what I can do, I've got a key command set up in here, so I can actually, I think, where is it? No, not that. What is it? What is it? Did I have it set up? I thought I set it up. Hold on, let's just make sure I actually did set it up. Freeze and flatten, command option, oh. The hotkey. Yeah, it's command option control, and then it automatically does everything for me. Here, let me just do that again in slow motion. So what I do is I highlight this here and I hold down command control and option and I hit F. And it will, what it does is it goes through all the steps to freeze the track, and then it waits for a bit, and then it goes through the steps to flatten the track. And I can set that up inside of Keyboard Maestro. Keyboard Maestro costs about $60, but you can do some really, really neat stuff with it. So for example, I have it set up so I hit F1 and it will put an EQ8 on my track, or F2 will put a FabFilter EQ, FabFilter 3 plugin, or F3 will put a glue compressor on there. So it's pretty neat stuff that you can do with this Keyboard Maestro. So one more time, I click on the track I want to freeze and flatten, and I hit boop, and it does it, and it does everything for me all at once. I don't have to right click and select something and right click. It moves super fast. Now with this bass line, if I wanted to put a fab filter on here, I just hit F2, and it should, yeah, it just puts fab filter on there for me, Pro Q3, which is pretty sick. So now, there's my, right. I can get rid of that pop a little bit. There we go. And if you haven't used FabFilter Pro Q3, you are really missing out. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Cool. So that's up with that. I think that's the end of our, whoops, yeah, I don't need you. That's the end of our MIDI stuff. How are you feeling so far about MIDI stuff? Yay. When do I use EQ8 versus FabFilter? I use EQ8 on all the basic filtering stuff, like if I need to do a low cut or I need to do a high cut, or if I just basic stuff. But FabFilter is actually pretty light on your CPU, so I tend to use FabFilter a lot. So that's when I tend to use one over the other. All right. Cool. And don't worry about the assignment stuff for right now. We're going to come back to that stuff. Alrighty then. Next up is, let's see, our audio recording. Ooh, okay. You know what I need to do though? I need to go get my microphone. I did actually set up my universal audio interface today. So, but I'm going to come right back. I'm going to grab my microphone from upstairs. I forgot to grab my microphone. I'll be right back. Try not to miss me too much. All right? Try. Good luck. It's going to be tough. All right, y'all. I'm back. I got my microphone. It is a blue mic. I'll put my glasses on so I can see all your pretty faces. Oh, there you are. What's up? How you doing? All right. And I got my Mogami cable. This is all the stuff I took with me to Thailand. It was quite the journey going to Thailand. I was there for 5 weeks. I hung out with monkeys. I went scuba diving. And I avoided getting coronavirus. What mic am I on right now? You mean the mic that I'm using to broadcast to y'all? Is that what you're asking? You went to high school in Thailand? Wow, that's cool. The mic I'm using to broadcast on is the mic from my headphones. This little mic right there, that little guy. Sounds pretty good, don't it? Yeah, I know, right? That sounds pretty darn good. I ain't gonna complain. Yeah, it's just the mic that came with these Bose headphones. The setup is ridiculously simple and complicated at the same time. It's kind of funny, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah. Is there any job in the industry that requires or favors a government clearance? That's very off topic, and I do not have a satisfactory answer for you, but my guess would be, yeah, there's probably all kinds of like jobs for audio in there's probably some jobs to do with like maybe FBI or CIA and stuff like that where they need audio engineers. Yeah, I would say CIA or FBI or something where you would need a government clearance for that. If you want to get into stuff like that, my advice would be to learn how to use Isotopes RX. Yeah, water. My advice would be to learn how to use Isotopes RX. It's probably the industry standard for cleaning up audio and stuff, and the stuff you can do with it as far as like removing background noise and certain frequencies and stuff is insane. So I would recommend going with that. All right, so yeah, it should be good. Let's see what happens now. Let me see. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about recording. So basically, what I'm using is you can see my screen. So here, let me get this. I'm going to show you my setup real quick. So I got this, and I showed you this the other day, but I'm going to show it to you again. All right. So right now I'm using the Arrow audio interface, and I'm only using it for the input. I'm not using it for the output. My headphones are plugged straight into the back of the computer here. Where is it? Right there. It's hard to see. But my headphones are plugged in there, just straight into the computer, so you can hear and see everything. And then I've got my microphone plugged in back here, right there. And then my cable is here, and then that comes into my microphone here. Let me get the product placement. There we go. So that's what we're working with right now. I'm going to show you in Ableton Live what's going on. Boop, there we go. Let's go back to my desktop. So I've got the console for the Universal Audio Arrow. And the Arrow is plugged in USB-C into the back of my computer. And what I've got here is check, check, 1, 2, check, checkity, check, ha, 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 check, 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 ha, 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 ha. Now, you're hearing me just through my normal headset mic, the one on my headset here, right there, that little guy. But you can see my screen. You can see the levels going up and down here. We can't hear it yet. Because I don't want to hear it through here. I just want to make sure I'm getting a good signal. Check. Hey, Tony in the house. What? Tony in the house. All right, cool. So I got that. And I'm going to go ahead and close this window here. I don't need that open anymore. Now in Ableton Live, I'm going to open up my preferences. And for audio input device, I'm going to go here. I'm going to use my Universal Audio Thunderbolt. And it's just going to be stereo inputs. I don't need stereo inputs. I just need mono inputs here. Boop. And now, if I make a new audio track, call this one Tone Vocal. If I go over here, I don't need that to say anything. And I go audio from, hold on, external in, and number 1. Check, 1, 2, check, checkity, check. You can see that's good. Check, check, checkity, check. If I hit the record button, hey, 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 yeah, hey. You can see I've got level. Cool. And I'm going to assume that this sounds fine. I mean, I guess I can try to listen to it. Check, 1, 2, hey. Awesome. So you can see it sounds fine. I obviously, there's a massive lag on it because I'm going into the computer through the Arrow interface into Ableton Live, from Ableton Live into OBS software, which is what I'm using to switch the scenes and everything and set up all this stuff so it looks really pretty. And then from there, going into the stream. So there's like so many levels of latency in there with going through so many different programs that it's kind of ridiculous. But it works. So let's do a little recording. Let's just see where we are with our notes. See where we are with the notes. You should eat the food. It's delicious.
But butcher first.
Oh, okay. Did you call them?
Yes, they're open to 8.
Okay, cool. All right. I made lunch for Vanessa, and it was delicious, and myself. But yeah, it was delicious. But she hasn't eaten it yet because she's been so busy working. So, all right. So recording into the arrangement view. So let's see. Let's go over here. Recording audio and live. Yeah. So let's go ahead and just set up a, whoops. Let's set up a little thing here. I'm just going to put this on my lap. I'm going to make a little loop in here. I'm going to highlight all these, and I'm going to talk about how to get stuff from one view into the other here in a little bit, but I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste it in for now. There we go. Boom. So Zaint Darko says you should mute your Bose headphones while you're recording on the Encore. I'm not going to do that because it's not going to solve the problem of latency. So it just means that when I talk, I'm going to have a crazy amount of latency on myself. Y'all won't hear the latency. You'll see it a little bit, but it's going to be super annoying. I'm just going to trust that this is going to sound fine. And to be honest, when I'm recording stuff myself, this is how I do it. I don't need to hear my voice as I'm recording. I know what my voice sounds like. It sounds amazing. So I don't need to have double amazing, right? One amazing is enough. So I'm just going to keep it muted for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to listen to it all together at the same time. So let's make a little recording, shall we? So check, check, check. It looks like we're still recording. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hit the record button up in here and hit go. Yo, what? My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors with the coronavirus. It's wreaking havoc on the streets. Yeah. I'm getting looked at. And eye rolls. Apparently. Right? Thank you, Bearded Mixer. Fire. One of my students said fire.
Fire me.
Fire. No, not fire you, that my vocals are fire. Corona gonna die from all that heat. I think you're right. I think we do have a hit. Throw it up on your Spotify. They love my vocals. Yeah. Don't you roll your eyes at me. No more lunch for you. All right. Let's do that again. She's going out the door. So we're going to do that again one more time so I don't get rolly eyes. All right, here we go. The shortcut for your record is F9. So there we go. So hit F9. It's gonna turn the record on, and I hit go. What? My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. It's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. Yo, we need some ghosts up in here to kill that Pac-Man. What? Yeah. Ridiculous. All right, shall we listen to this? Let's hear what it sounds like. Grammy. Yeah. If the Grammys take a serious turn for the worse, then yes. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to throw some effects on this because I don't want to hear it just normal like whatever. Let's go ahead and put some effects on it. I'm going to go ahead and first of all, I'm going to put an EQ 8 on here and cut out the low frequencies. I'm going to cut the low frequencies below like 100 or so, 115. And then we're going to put on here a little bit of the glue compressor. Lyricist, yep. It's all in real time, y'all. Real time, real time. We're going to turn the threshold down a little bit. Attack is going to go like this. Release is going to go up a little bit. Ratio will stay right there. Corona, yeah, we'll give it a name. We've got to get a chorus for this bad boy too, right? And I'm going to need y'all's help on that. Maybe y'all should record some stuff at home on whatever you got and send it in. That would be cool. We'll do that. All right, anyway, we got in here. Let's go ahead. What? My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. Okay, so first things first. You notice that it's way off, and that's fine, but we just need to move it over to make it so it's less way off, okay? So bounce that file offline so we don't gotta hear it again. Aw, that was mean. Hold on. I'm gonna. How can I reach these kids? How can I make them like me? Okay, I'm back. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to... how can I reach these kids? Yeah, you got me. You know. All right. How do you make the MIDI and audio clips solid colors in the arrangement view? Oh, probably, do you have like a little orange button over here on the right-hand side? Do you have a little orange button right up here? I don't have one here. Wait, here, let me, boop. Yours looks like this, right? Where it's like this grayed out color. Okay, well, if you have that orange button, then what you need to do is you need to hit that orange button and it will pull things, it'll make sure everything is in the arrangement view. So you hit that button and it will make it solid. Okay, anyway, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna drag it on over like that, boom. And now we should be good. Should be on, like that. All right, there we go. What? My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus, it's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. Yo, All right, I'm gonna edit that. There we go, boom, boom, boom. Cool. All right, I have a sample of people rioting. We could get something. All right, so we got this in here. And I just edited it down one more time. Let's have a listen to it. Let's put a little reverb on it. I'm gonna make a new return track. Let's go over here to this view here. Command Option T to make a return track. And this one here we're gonna call vocal reverb, or reverb vocal rather. Reverb vocal. And let's use a nice reverb. Since I'm showing y'all some extra effects and stuff, what's going on over here? Scene item transform, what? Close. I don't know what that is. Since I'm showing y'all some cool effects that don't come with Ableton Live, let me show you this, the Valhalla plugins. Valhalla plugins are, wait, do I have them in here? Yes, okay. So yeah, Valhalla makes these awesome reverbs. How many separate reverb octaves would you typically use in a track? It kind of depends on my moods. It depends on the track and the mood, how many things are in here. I usually use like 1 or 2 for drums, and I use 1 or 2 for other instruments as well. So like 3 or 4. But one of my favorite reverbs is this Valhalla plugin here. And I'm gonna go in here and grab some presets. Let's use a dark vocal room. Let's see what this sounds like on my voice. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus, it's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. Nice. Awesome. All right. So you can hear a little bit of reverb on there. And we could go in and we could make the video, we could make the audio prettier or less pretty or whatever we wanted to do to it. But you can see here, let's just keep going. I'm going to go ahead and loop that section so I can mess with it. My name is Tony. Let's make a loop like that long, 8-bar loop. And I'm going to do that here. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus, it's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus, it's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my audio here and I'm just going to edge off the bottom, the low end of it. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. It's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. It's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. All right. So cool. Yeah, the Pac-Man is good. I like the Pac-Man. All right. So one thing you'll notice in here though is I got a lot of plosives. Do you know what a plosive is? What is a plosive? Somebody give me an example of a plosive. Type it in, and you could type it in. It's a one letter. There's several one-letter options, though. Pow. Yes. P, T, K, P, Pac-Man, Tony. Those are plosives, right? Great. Joanna, Bearded Mixer. Yes, absolutely. So you can see them in here. And what I want to do is I want to get rid of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these, and I'm going to hit Command E to separate it out. An S is sibilance. S is different from a plosive. But a T, yes, a T is a plosive. Could be a T, T, P, P, K, K, Ks, Ps, Ts, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight that out, and I'm going to double click it, and I highlight it by hitting Command E. The shortcut is Command plus E. Boom. That's your shortcut. And what I do is I'm going to double click it. I'm going to turn it down like that. Now, doing this does take time if you want to go through and do it, but the best thing to do is actually just not have these plosives in here to get rid of them. But sometimes they're in here, and it doesn't take long to get rid of them like this. But it does take a little bit of time. But this is how you would do it. If you want to do it like this, you could do it like this. You can see this is probably distorted, actually. And then once I've gotten rid of it, once I've Command E'd it, I go in here to my gain for that clip, and I just turn the gain down. And there we go. Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus. It's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony. Right? And you hear how much better it makes everything sound, because now it's not all like overcrowding my compressor and stuff like that. So going in and getting rid of those like giant plosives will help with your compression. It'll smooth out your compression. So I highly recommend doing that if you see things like that happening. The best thing is to use a pop guard and not have that happen. But yeah, so that's that part there. What was I going to do? Oh, so the next thing I want to do is something that came up. It was a question. Let's just see where we are here. Recording into arrangement view. Yes. Set the locator. Set playback. Yes. Cool. The S's are still present. Yes, the S's are still present. I haven't done anything about, that's a sibilance thing. I haven't done anything about the sibilance yet. We talked about this stuff really quick. Recording into session view. Okay, we're going to, let's see, recording from one track to another. Okay, we're going to come back and talk about that after the next break. Okay, so, and here, Well, here, the way you get rid of the S's is you use a de-esser. So RX6 de-esser, no, that's not what I want to use. I want to use my, where's my ozone? Do I want to use that one? I don't have. I'm just going to use the Ableton Live setting for the de-esser. Is here under Audio Effects, Compressor, de-esser. It's not my favorite de-esser, but for some reason my favorite de-esser is not in here right now. Here we go, here's this. Because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus, it's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got. It's not the best. Well, the question is de-esser just a compression setting? Yes and no. It depends on the compressor. This compressor, let's get that side because coronavirus is eating everybody up like giant Pac-Man. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. I got coronavirus, it's up all in the streets. I can't go outside because coronavirus. There we go, that's better. So basically, what a de-esser is, it's like a cross. It's a EQ'd compression setting. So here's my compressor, and I've got my threshold and ratio and all that stuff. On the input of this compressor, I can turn on an EQ, so it's only going to compress frequencies above 4 kilohertz, 4.37 kilohertz. So I can set this to this. It's basically a high pass or a low cut, and I turn this frequency to where I want it to be, and then I turn the threshold to where I want it to be, and it will compress certain things. So not all compressors have an EQ on the input. So the answer to your question, Bado Beats, is in this case, it is. In other cases, it's not. You could probably use a multi-band compressor for a de-esser, but it would be serious overkill. Most DAWs come with a compressor that'll do something like this. But yeah, you could. I think the answer is probably yes. I never have, but you could. And if you're wondering what is a multi-band compressor, the answer is, I'll tell you later. Not today. All right, so we've got this de-esser in here. Because okay, we got that. My name is Tony, and I'm stuck indoors. Awesome, sounds great. Could you repeat how to do the color thing one more time? Color? You mean like on the track? Right click on the track and select your color. That's probably the answer to your question, I'm guessing. Oh, when you're in the arrangement view, you're going to get like a little orange thing over here. Just click on that. Or hit F10. Are you on a Mac? Hit F10. And that'll play what's in there. But we're going to talk about that, actually. I'm going to talk about all that stuff here in a second once I'm done doing some of these things. All right. So where are we? What was I doing? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to go ahead and adjust some of the timing in here. So the timing, let me start it from right over here. In the streets, I can't go outside because coronavirus is eating everybody up. Like, okay, so here, go outside. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a marker here to just start from this location. And if you've been using Ableton Live for a while, you may not have ever noticed this. And I remember when I first saw this, I was like, my mind was just like, and I was like, how long has this been in Ableton Live? Oh my gosh, why didn't anybody tell me about this? So right here, set song start time here. If you have a marker and you want it to always play back from that place and you don't want it to keep playing back from wherever you've clicked, just right click on here and go set song start time here. Now, no matter where you've been clicking, it's always gonna start from the same place. Go outside because like I go outside, right? If you've been using Ableton Live for a long time and you're sick of it just starting from wherever you've been clicking, this is going to change your life. If you've never used Ableton Live before, you might be wondering why I just had a little freak out like that. Yeah. Right? Thank you, Kishan. Because for me, it was a wow moment also. Unless you're just wowing at what a weirdo I am. I mean, fair. All right. So, oh, wait. You know what? Oh, it's literally just insert a marker, put a marker, right click, and put an add locator. And you just right click on the locator and you go set song start time here. And it gives you a little green dot right there. And then when you're done, you just unclick, you uncheck it. There you go. And it'll go back to just starting wherever. There you go. Let's take a break. 10 minutes. Since we're finishing at 4:52, let's start up at 5:02, shall we? So roughly 10 minutes. I'm going to stop the recording and put the recording up online for the couple hours ago. All right. Be back in 10 minutes, y'all. Bye.